Hey team, welcome back to my channel. Before we dive into the source code, let me run the program first so you can see the output. So 1, 2, 3, go. Notice I ran the program and it went out there and got a list of folders in the YouTube directory. You can see here AdventureWorks, Angular, APP. You can see the same thing here. And here is the folder size. So if you want to learn how to do this, that is what the video does. Let's go. The source code for this video is available on my GitHub account. Go to github.com, software nuggets, then look for the repository VBA for Excel resource. Then look for a file called GetFolderSize.bas. There's the source code. Let's go. Let's begin with the function GetFolderSize. Notice it'll take in a path and it will return a double. Let us declare two variables of type object. FSO, that's the short for File System Object, and a folder object. As you can see on line 14, you can get the line number right here. We're saying set FSO equals create object, quotation marks, and then Scripting.FileSystemObject. Every time we declare a variable of an object type, we should set it back to nothing. Notice we'll be using FSO. Now, does that folder exist? Notice I pass in sPath. And then I'm going to get that folder and I'm going to assign it to folder. Folder.size gives you the total size in bytes of all the files that are directly within the folder, but it does not include files from any subfolder. Here you can see that the 100 byte, 200 byte is 300 bytes. That's what this function will return. The name of my function is called GetFolderSize. The return values in VBA have to be the same name. So notice GetFolderSize, same name. Now this is success, this is failure. So if it fails, I'm going to return 0. Let's now look at the function GetRootFolder. Notice I'm passing in the root path and I'm going to return a variant. This is actually going to be an array. So I'm going to return an array of folders, the list of folder names. So you notice we did this in our last functions, and then we created our create object file system object. Let's now test to make sure that this root path exists. So I'm going to do that FSO, make sure that folder exists, and if it does not, then I'm going to return an empty array. Remember, return values are the name of the function. So get root folders, and then I'm going to exit function. On line 19, notice I'm saying set folder, we declared it here as an object, equals fso.getFolder, and I'm going to pass in that root. Remember, we did the test. It does exist. So let's continue. Notice on line 10, we have declared a variable folder list that is an array of strings. And then we have declared count as an integer. Then on line 22, you can see that we're going to use the redim function to reallocate the memory that has been assigned to a folder list, the exact number of folders that are at this path. Then we're going to set the initial indexer count to 0. Let's stay inside of the for each loop until we have assigned all of the subfolder names to the folder list array. When that is complete, let's return folder list to the caller. Notice we are assigning the folder list to the name of this function. That's the way we do it in VBA. We're now on the subroutine load folders into sheet. Notice we say on line 3, dim WS as worksheet. You can see here is our worksheet, and the name of our worksheet is sheet 1. So in code, we say set WS equals worksheets sheet 1. This is just the name of the sheet. On line 12, we're going to say starting path equals quotation marks d:/YouTube. So I have a D drive on my computer, and in the root, there's a folder called YouTube. Just a moment ago, we wrote the function getRootFolders. I'm going to send in starting path, and it's going to return me an array of folder list. Now, isArray is a built-in VBA function. that returns true if this variable provides an array, and false if it does not. And because we know this is an array, I can use the functions L-bound, lower bound, and upper bound of that array to loop over all of the elements. As you can see here on line 22, ws.cells, I plus 1 for 1. That means use this spreadsheet, sheet 1, and then it's row column. So I plus 1. So what is I? Well, we declared I as an integer. We're getting I from this array. So this is kind of like starting at 1 because arrays are 0 based. So 0 plus 1, that'll be 1. So 1 dot value, I'm going to put the name of the first folder. Then I'm going to come up and get the next one, and I'm just going to stay inside of a loop until I get to the upper bound of the folder list. To finish up this function, we're going to have to build the full folder name. So notice I'm going to have to use the starting path, that's D, YouTube, and then slash, and then the name of the folder. That becomes the folder name. Then using the function we just wrote, GetFolderSize, I'm going to pass in folder name, and then I'm going to populate column 2 on that same row. Let's finish up this subroutine by setting ws equals nothing and our array to nothing as well. And that finishes our function load folders into sheet. And there you have it, team, how to load an Excel spreadsheet with the folder name and its content size. Now this is a very useful utility. I use it to look for hogs. I hope you find this video useful, and if you did, I'd appreciate a comment to tell me how and why you'd use this technology. That's all I have. Take care.